Diving straight in. This one comes from the UK's Daily Mail. The headline, this is amazing. Woman will suffer diarrhea forever after Ozempic caused horror bowel injury. And weight loss drug made another vomit until her teeth fell out, claims dozens of lawsuits saying maker failed to warn of its dangers. In the article itself, it says, in one case, a woman who used Ozempic and Mounjaro claims she was diagnosed with gastroparesis, which caused her to vomit so much that some of her teeth fell out. In another, a woman was diagnosed with a life-threatening bowel injury, unquote, after using Ozempic and underwent surgery, which lasted nearly 9 hours. Doctors said she would be in pain for the rest of her life and, quote, will never have a solid bowel movement again, unquote. A third case in this set of lawsuits, a third case brought by a woman who used Wegovy, claims she was diagnosed with, quote, severe gastroparesis, unquote, and was hospitalized with symptoms including going a week without a bowel movement. What is going on? Those are some pretty insane headlines and side effects. Is this a normal thing? What is going on? Can you give me some explanation? What is gastroparesis and what are they talking about here?
Yeah, so like we discussed in the first episode, one of the benefits of the GLP-1 receptor agonist is the ability of the medication to help slow gastric emptying. And now gastroparesis is essentially taking that one step further where there is a more marked delay or essentially stopping of gastric flow in the GI tract.
So it's just gone
way down.
It's turned it up to 11, so to speak, and not emptying properly at all.
Right. And so clinically, what they'll see is that gastroparesis is more or less confirmed when more than 10% of the standardized meal that they use in the test still remains in the stomach after 4 hours.
Wow.
And so that's a pretty slowed transit time.
I was gonna say, food doesn't stay in your stomach anywhere near that long. It's supposed to pass through fairly quickly.
Yeah. But again, it's just to highlight that, again, something that is a benefit of the medication is now, one step further, a potential downside.
Yeah, and people that have been diagnosed with gastroparesis, we know it's contraindicated to use any of these medications because you've already got, an idiopathic stopping or slowing of the GI tract and the gastric emptying. So to add a medication that's going to do that. So we know that. It's the other end that's a little more complicated. Could it cause it and could it sustain it?
Right. So it's entirely possible that these people or some of these people or some of the thousands of people using it might have gastroparesis and not realize it. And then they begin taking a drug and it becomes pronounced and very pathological.
It's certainly possible. Just as most cases of gastroparesis are idiopathic, so not a really strong established cause, but also there's a whole list of medications that can also cause it as well.
Oh, well, but such as?
So there are certain narcotic pain medications that can lead to it, certain antidepressants like amitriptyline, calcium channel blockers, so essentially blood pressure medications like nifedipine and diltiazem. There's a whole list, even substances like nicotine, the THC in marijuana is also has the potential to lead to that. So we're not saying that we're not discounting what these individuals are experiencing, but gastroparesis is fairly it's a fairly prevalent issue aside from this.
Okay, when you list all those medications and all that, it sounds like theoretically, your doctor or a pharmacist would catch that you're already on one of these things. You need to be very careful about that.
Potentially.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not always a perfect situation, but again, it's like we'll get into, especially if you're, if you kind of go outside of your standard medical practice to use these medications, or you find one on your own,
Right. Yeah. That's why you want to work with a professional who knows you.